Good afternoon, everyone. I'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes to join all the attendees, and then we'll start the webinar. So I'm Yasha Sharma, product specialist for Omega, representing Shriram Automation and Controls Private Limited. So we are the authorized distributor and channel partner for Dwyer Omega products. Wait for 2 more minutes, and then we shall get started. Okay, so let's get started. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm Yasha Sharma, product specialist for Omega, representing Shriram Automation and Controls Private Limited, which is India's authorized channel partner and distributor for Dwyer Omega products. I welcome you for this webinar on temperature sensing solution. In the next 30 to 40 minutes, we are going to deep dive into RTDs, thermocouples, and how to select the right temperature sensor for your application. Whether you are a process engineer, a procurement manager, or just curious about what goes inside your equipment, then this webinar is made for you. So let's get started. So before we deep dive into the technical content, let me introduce us, SNC. Shriram Automation and Controls Private Limited is a trusted industrial automation and instrumentation solution provider with over a decade of experience operating pan-India. We are backed by the world-class global technology partners. On the screen, you see some of our key global brands, which includes Dwyer, Omega, ACI, Miljoco, Waste Instruments, UFM, Michel Instruments, Rotronic, Entron, SST, Dynament, Sensor, Consistic, and Burns Engineering. And Omega is a flagship brand for temperature sensing. And that's what we are going to focus on in today's webinar. Now, I want to take a moment to establish our credibility. On the screen, you see our certification from Dwyer and Omega Engineering, us being the authorized channel partner. So you might be thinking, what makes us stand apart? I'll answer that. We have a dedicated team of service engineers comprising of skilled service engineer, which are going to give you on-site sales support. Then we have for commissioning, for calibration, and after sales service. So you are not just buying a product, you are getting end-to-end after sales support. Additionally, we have our e-com online website from which you can directly shop the models. Now let me give you a brief that what we are going to cover in today's webinar. Starting with what is temperature sensing and why it matters. Next, RTDs. We are going to deep dive into RTDs. Then with the thermocouples, types, principle, and applications. Next, we are going to cover RTD versus thermocouple, how you should decide what is best for you. Next, Omega's product portfolio, RTDs and thermocouple, the industries that we serve, and why choose Omega, the competitive advantage. Next, we are going to cover customer support, customization, and delivery, the Omega quality and certification, and take the next step, like how to contact us. Now, you might be seeing a poll on your screen about which industry you belong from. So kindly answer that poll and we'll move forward. At the end of this webinar, we are going to have a Q&A session and I'll be answering all your queries one by one. So during the webinar, if you are having any question, write it down and at the end, I'm going to answer that. So let's move forward. So what is temperature sensing and why it's the most critical measurement in industrial process? As per the statistics, 80% of the industrial process failures are temperature related, not pressure, not flow. These are temperature related. We are working in a modern sensor technologies and where plus minus of zero point 0.1 degree centigrade is precision can be achievable by using the proper sensors according to your application, covering the range from minus 200 degrees centigrade to 2300 degrees centigrade. And if you have a safety or critical system like critical monitoring you want to have for 24/7, then also the modern technology offers good sensors to have that. Now, after this, I can say temperature sensing is the backbone of process control and automation, energy efficiency optimization, safety and compliance monitoring, product quality assurance, R&D, and lab testing. Moving ahead with our first sensor technology, resistant temperature detector. RTDs work on a very basic, simple, and elegant principle. As the temperature increases, the resistance of the metal increases. And we map that increase in resistance in the temperature. So the most common material for manufacturing of RTDs are PT100 and PT1000. So what is the difference between them? PT100 is having 100 ohms of resistance at 0 degree centigrade, and whereas PT1000 has 1000 ohms at 0 degree centigrade. So if you want to have a better resolution, then you should go with PT1000. Nickel and copper types are also available, but these are used for the low temperature, like for the low temperature range. If you have, when we are talking about in the RTD only, then platinum is for the higher temperature range. So the temperature range that RTD cover is from minus 200 degrees centigrade to plus 850 degrees centigrade. These come in two accuracies, class A and class B. Class A will be plus minus 0.15 and class B will be plus minus 0.30. These are a very fast response devices having up to 3.5. Like you will get the response less than 3.5 seconds. I have listed some of the key advantages of using RTDs. The first one is high accuracy. So best in class precision. If you want a high accuracy device for your high accuracy sensor for your labs or critical processes operating below 850 degrees centigrade, then you should go with the RTDs. Excellent stability, like minimal drift over years of continuous use. You need to have calibration at times, like in 6 months. If you are rigorously using it, then in 6 months, or we'll recommend the calibration in 1 year. But these are having minimal drift over years of continuous use. Linear output. As I said, the resistance of the metal directly increases in proportion with the temperature. So resistance versus temperature relationship is linear. So it makes the calibration very easy. Repeatability. In the industrial process, repeatability is very important, a very important phenomena to judge a sensor. So consistent reading across multiple measurement cycle, you should go with the RTDs. Wide compatibility. Now you are taking the output and now you have to give this output to one of your big sensors or big technologies like PLCs or SCADA. You need to measure that temperature, right? So then you have RTDs, and these are widely compatible with signal conditioner and PLCs. PLCs will have 4 to 20 milliamps and 0 to 10 volts according to your requirement. I've included some of the RTDs application and how the Omega RTD lineup used in these applications. So first is pharmaceutical. So when you're measuring the sterile process validation, autoclave monitoring, cold chain management, then RTDs are used. In the food and beverages industries, like pasteurization, fermentation tanks, chiller and freezer monitoring, then RTDs are coming into pictures. Semiconductor industry, there is a process called wafer fabrication where diffusion furnaces, etching and deposition process on that blackboard and this. So etching and deposition processes also have RTDs. Then for the HVAC and building application, when you need to monitor the duct temperature, chiller water loops, energy management system, then you have RTDs. For power generation, like turbine inlet temperature, heat exchanger monitoring, for laboratory, calibration bath, environmental chambers, and incubators. Omega has a PR11 series, depends on PT100 and PT1000 according to your requirement. These are available in 2, 3, and 4 wire configuration. The probe length is not according to your need, then customization is available. Sheath material is also customized, and IP67 and IP65 rated options are also available. So fast response variant for dynamic processes. Next, move to our next sensor, that is thermocouple. So thermocouple works on Seebeck effect. Now I'll tell you what Seebeck effect is. When two dissimilar metals are joined to form a junction, and there is a difference, temperature difference lies between a hot junction and cold junction, then a small EMF is generated in millivolts, and that small EMF is mapped into the temperature. So that's how the thermocouple works. So depending on the dissimilar metals, the type of the material of that dissimilar metal, different types of thermocouples are formed. Like I have mentioned some of the thermocouple types like J, K, T, E, N, R, and S. For example, J type thermocouple is made up of iron and constantan. K type is for chromal and aluminium. For J type, the temperature range is from -40 to 750 degrees centigrade. And for K type, it's -200 to 1250 degrees centigrade. So, and so on. Like if you are talking about the high temperature measurement, then you should go with N, R, and S type of, like for 0 to 2000 degree, 2200 degree. Then you should go with the R and S type of thermocouples. Sometimes I get wonder that thermocouple can be made small enough to measure the temperature of a bee, as you can see on the slide. So, based K type is one of the most widely used thermocouple in the industrial like processes. So, J type, K type, all these find very useful in these of the application I have mentioned, like furnace and kilns, gas turbines, boilers, plastic and rubber extrusion, metal casting. These are all are of very high temperature processes, and these type of thermocouple finds its use in these applications for heat treatment, combustion engines, glass manufacturing industries. So these thermocouples are used in this. Now I get asked this question multiple times, like what should I use, RTD or thermocouple? And my answer is simple, it depends on your application. The first and most important part is temperature range. At what temperature you are operating your furnaces or your process. So if your temperature range lies between -200 to 850, then you should go with RTD. But it is of higher temperature range, then you should go with like higher temperature range of from -200 to 2300 degree, then you should go with thermocouple. Then accuracy, if accuracy is plus minus zero point 0.1 degree centigrades, like class A accuracy you want, that is coming in a very excellent range, then you should go with RTD. And if you can have some plus minus 1 to 2 degree centigrades of like good accuracy, then you should go with thermocouple. Then stability and drift. This drift will be very low, and when you're talking about long term application and range is lower on the lower side, then you should go with RTD. And if you can have moderate drift, then you can go with thermocouple. Response time slower, like I've told you, 3.5 minimal, less than 3.5 or 2 to 10 second typical you want, then you should go with RTD. And you want very fast response, less than 1 second, then thermocouple. Cost, as RTDs are made up of platinum, so higher initial cost will be there. But if you want on the economical part and you want lower cost, initial lower cost, then you should go with thermocouple. Linearity, these are linear devices and easy to work with and easy to calibrate. And whereas thermocouple are non-linear, so they want lookup tables. Vibration resistance, moderate. And in thermocouple we have excellent. Like if you have a harsh environment and you want robust, you want your sensor to work in any condition, robust condition, then you should go with thermocouple. Self-powered RTDs are they don't have their self-powered. No, they want excitation current to work with transmitters and transmitter and signal conditioners. And for thermocouple, they generate its own EMF millivolt in millivolts, so they are self-powered. Best for, so RTDs are best for precision, lab, pharma, and clean processes, whereas thermocouples are best for high temperature furnaces, combustion, and industrial furnaces. I've told you a basic difference between how to select a RTD and thermocouple. But if you are still confused, like what should I go with? And in my application, what should I have, RTD or thermocouple? And which type of thermocouple or which type of RTD? Should I go with PT100, PT1000, 1 wire, 2 wire, 3 wire? Then 2 wire, 3 wire, 4 wire, then I am there. Then we are there to help you and we'll understand your application and we will suggest you the best solution for your application. So I've listed some of the industries that we serve. In oil and gas, pharmaceutical, food and beverages, power generation, automotive, aerospace and defense, plastic and rubber industry, semiconductor, chemical and petrochemical, HVAC and building. These are like for power generation, turbines, and for glass industries, these are operating at high temperatures. So thermocouple will go with them. So I want to have a moment like why choose Omega? There are so many local brands available in the market. So why you should choose us? And what is the competitive advantage that you are getting with choosing Omega? I'll tell you. 60 plus years of industry expertise. Omega was founded in 1962 and has been at the forefront of temperature measurement. So with year, the technology is advancing and the way we measure the temperature is advancing. So we just don't sell sensors, we build trust and partnership. Unmatched product breadth. From basic RTD probes to ultra high temperature ceramic thermocouples, Omega has 1 lakh plus measurement and control products in their portfolio. So one supplier, every need. You want to measure anything, just come to Omega, we'll give you the solution for that. Manufactured to the highest standard. Omega products are manufactured under ISO. We are ISO certified company. And every sensor is tested to NIST traceable standards. You will buy a local sensor, but traceability, you can't trace it after purchasing it. We will give you the NIST calibration certificate and you can trace your calibration points, giving you documented, defensible accuracy. Customization on demand. We are offering you and you don't find an equivalent model according to your need or your application, then customization is there. We can customize the model for you and you can use that. Omega's engineering team designed custom props, assemblies, and signal conditioning solution to your exact specification in days, not weeks. So you'll have deliver your products within days. Local India support at SNC. One of the most advantageous part of us being the Dwyer Omega authorized channel partner and distributor. As I told you, we have a dedicated team. You want us for the on-site visit, you want us for the after-sales support, we are there for you. We are the application engineer, all time available for you on phone, emails, and chats, free consultation, selection assistant, and post sale support, including with every purchase. So whether you are buying a like small sensor or a big sensor or a high temperature sensor or a low temperature sensor, we are always there to support you at SNC. Now I want to take a moment to make you understand this slide better. Let me give a second to show you a video based for this one.
While out of the box, you might not see much difference between that off-brand thermocouple probe and one of our high-accuracy Super Omega Clad XL. While out of the box, you might not see much difference between that off-brand and one of our high-accuracy Super Omega Clad XL or Inconel probes. But down the road, it's a whole other story. As with any thermocouple probe, accuracy drift is the enemy. To combat accuracy drift, Dwyer Omega only uses a fine-grained, high-purity magnesium oxide insulation, resulting in less stress on the thermocouple alloy wires during assembly, while our competitor's insulation starts as a rigid, preformed magnesium oxide tube that is crushed during the manufacturing process, putting much more stress on the alloy wires. And our proprietary manufacturing process eliminates any pre-existing moisture inside the sheath during assembly, because even the slightest bit of moisture inside a probe can expand and condense during heating and cooling, resulting.
So this is a very important phenomena while manufacturing a RTD or thermocouple. So the measuring part is here and we have a sheath. So between the measuring part and sheath, a magnesium oxide powder is filled as an insulation. But if the quality of this magnesium oxide powder has been compromised, then it will give you the accuracy drift. Very fine magnesium oxide powder will be there, but if it is not fine, then there will be accuracy drift. That's what it is trying to make you understand.
Failure due to a short or accuracy drift. Accuracy drift can also be caused by metal from the sheath leaching into the thermocouple's internal alloy wires over time. Our Super Omega Clad XL probes feature a dual wall sheath that eliminates contamination of alloys. And keep in mind, all Dwyer Omega thermocouple probes are manufactured in-house at our assembly over the long.
So we have a dual wall sheet for this one. So it also prevent the accuracy drift. So single wall will have an insulation failure and you won't get the accuracy.
And keep in mind, all Dwyer Omega thermocouple probes are manufactured in-house at our assembly plant in southern New Jersey, while many resellers' probes are outsourced to various locations, so you really don't know whose probe you're getting. So make a long-term investment in accuracy and durability with Dwyer Omega Industrial Thermocouple probes.
So as explained in the video, the baseline accuracy, insulation resistance, and accuracy drift prevention and thermal shock resistance. So for the insulation resistance, these are tested on a very high voltage and So there are like 3 times they are tested. So there are very less chances, there are no chances to have insulation resistance failure for the Omega uh, sensors. Now I'll tell you what a sensor failure can cost you. Suppose your furnace is operating at 950 degrees centigrade and suddenly a sensor fails. So what you need to do? You just can't open the door and replace the sensor. You need to wait for at least 7 to 8 hours to cool down the furnace to around 45 degrees, at which it is safe to touch. And then only you can replace the sensor. So it is not a hypothetical situation that I'm telling you. It is faced by one of our customer. He said one of our sensors was locally made and used to run only for 50 days. And in every 50 days, I have to force shut down my furnace and wait for at least 7 to 8 hours to replace the sensor. So we suggested him to go with the Omega and he agreed, and now he has to change the sensor but in 4 to 5 months, not in 50 days. So the frequent failing of sensor is not only costing you time, it is costing you energy, money, and your 7 to hour of forced shutdown, your batch processing is stopped. So you are suffering on every way. So it doesn't matter now. The question is not only which sensor is cheaper, the question is what it is costing you. It is costing you everything, like your money is increasing, your force shutdown, your batch processing has stopped, your whole efficiency is on the lower side. So this was faced by one of our customers. So the quality certification and standard compliance that we are ISO certified company. We have NIST NIST traceable calibration. Like NABL, NIST is a European standard. So all the sensors that are manufactured with Omega comes with NIST traceability. We have CE marking, like European conformity, ROHS compliant, restriction of hazardous substances. The raw material used for the manufacturing of our sensors are environmental friendly, and we are fulfilling the sustainability goals. We have IEC and ASTM standards, and we are ethics and UL certified, like for the hazardous area, zone 1, zone 2, and for division 1 and 2. So ethics, the cables, the thermocouple extension grade cable or thermocouple grade cables, these are UL certified. You'll get the UL certification with them. Now I'll move with the Omega in numbers and why customer trust us. So 60 plus years in business, 100K plus products in portfolio, 500K plus customers served globally, and 50 plus countries with distribution. So these are some of our feedbacks, the positive feedbacks from our customers. So there are different industries like pharmaceutical plant, food processing company, and steel manufacturing unit. They have replaced their local made sensors with Omega brand, and they have noticed like on the positive side the changes. The efficiency of their plant has increased. They have timely commissioned their plant and saved a lot of time. So now you are ready to upgrade your temperature sensing. So this is how you contact us. My name, mail ID, and phone number is given on the slide, and you can contact us with your requirement. Now I'll take some questions if there are. If you have any questions, you can ask in the Q&A session, and I'll be answering them. And I've got the result for the polls as well. Like most of the joiners are instrumentation engineer, and some of our maintenance and plant engineers as well. Okay. If you have no questions, then we'll end the session. Okay, then thank you and reach out to us. I'll forward this PPT to you as well on mail, and then you can contact us.